Good afternoon and welcome to BizTech's Midday Market Watch. Our guest today is Oriano Lizza. He's the sales trader at CMC Markets. Now, Oriano, great to have you on the show.
Thanks so much, Brian, for taking the time out to have me on.
Now, before we get your insights, Oriano, I'm going to basically take a quick look at how markets are doing across the region. Now, it's the sea of green, actually, with the exception of the Nikkei. The Nikkei is trading at 25,810.7. It's down 0.78. The Shanghai Composite is trading at 3,355.69. It's up 0.47%. The Hang Seng is trading at 26,572.66. It's up 0.6%. The ASX 200 is trading at 6,523.7. It's up 0.39%. And the Kospi is trading at 2,546.23. It's up 0.28%. The SGX is at 22,786.16. It's up 0.27%. And Bursa Malaysia also bucks the trend, and it's down 0.951 points at 1,600.64. Now, Oriano, looking at the markets around the region, now, despite the fact that Japanese exports in October did much better than expected, now only falling 0.2% according to the Ministry of Finance, compared to a 4.5% decline that was forecast by economists in the Reuters poll. Yet the Nikkei is down. What's your view on that, Oriano?
Yeah, I think I've taken a bit of a technical standpoint, and without boring too many of your guests, just having a look at the recent moves in the Nikkei, they have been relatively exponential to the upside. Looking at certain levels, they're looking at sort of trying to test around 27,000 in terms, and it has tried to sort of breach that level a couple of times without much success. Basically, if I look at the chart, I can see that it is a bit of a topping formation, and that there has a bit of steam has run out of its recent run. So I'm not overly concerned that we're going to see a major sell-off in the Nikkei in the sort of short to medium term. But I do think it has just hit a sort of precipice or a point in its recent run of late where it's running out of steam or exhaustion.
Now, okay, I'm going to take you up on that point of running out of steam, because overall markets have been bullish because there's a slew of good news. You've got the post-election with the Biden victory, RCEP, and also vaccine news. Now, are these positive rallies sustainable, or will market players across the region start to take profits?
I'm actually a believer, as much as I tried to disagree with the theorem, Brian, that the markets will continue to rally post-US election. Obviously, like you mentioned just now, you've got quite a number of different, I guess, subplots going on in the background. This recent RCEP agreement has given an additional boost to the ASEAN region. Biden victory has surprisingly sort of continued to maintain the momentum. And obviously the recent vaccine news has given a little additional spurt there to equity markets. If I look at it from a market's perspective, I think what we did see prior to a couple of months ago when we saw a sharp sell-off in the major US indices, we're going to see a slow trajectory higher. We are looking at, I'm also keeping an eye on the US dollar, which is somewhat compressed at the moment. And I think we will see continual compression of the US dollar sort of heading, there is analyst estimation that it might go as low as sort of the 90 level. But also the VIX as well. The VIX was at a very inflated period for some time as the markets continue to rise higher. That has somewhat declined of late, and is a very good barometer for the wider market. So in terms of, I guess in answer to your question, has the market exhausted itself completely? I do still think there is still some upside, but we're going to see less volatile trading environments, but just slower incremental sort of moves over the next couple of weeks.
Now, Oriano, then on the other end of the spectrum, could you give us your view just overall on the retail trading landscape across the region?
Yeah, it's been I mean, I've been in the retail trading sort of both here in the UK, sorry, and in Singapore over the past about 5 years. And I think this particular environment or this particular kind of trend that I'm seeing at the moment is very, very unique. We continue to see, like a lot of people are aware, it's been made very clear in the news, a lot of people investing in your sort of, your sort of COVID stocks, as they say. But what we might start to see now with the emergence of some vaccines is maybe a switch from those sort of tech and COVID stocks into value stocks, because a lot of people who have come into the retail environment, they've had a very successful run up until now. So I think what we're going to see is a slight changing of the landscape. So I think from a retail perspective, individual retail traders will need to adjust their risk management approaches as well. But from, if I look at it from a business perspective, business has been, it's one of the sectors that has flourished significantly, with obviously the uptake in retail trading accounts and general interest in investing.
And do you think that unless there is a big shock to the market, we're going to still see lots of retail participation in the region? Because Singapore and Malaysian markets, for example, were seeing steady decline for many, many years until this year. And then the retail participation has just shown up. Is that something that you're seeing across the region?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, looking at obviously, if I look at the business I work for as a whole, we've seen strong growth quarter on quarter and also year on year in terms of new accounts, new active participants into the market, and also reactivated clients. So clients who have had time away or periods away from trading, but have really sort of, I guess, gained traction and I guess almost got sucked into all the sort of hysteria surrounding markets at the moment. So I think it still has, we talk about markets running out of exhaustion. I think the retail trading environment still has a lot more to offer. And obviously what we have seen of late is, I guess, a lot more of a fierce and competitive landscape with a lot of, brokerages offering, zero commission trading, things like this. So there has been an emergence of new players within the market, which has also given an additional boost and interest to existing and new participants.
Oriano, thank you very much for your insights. We've been speaking to Oriano Lizza, sales trader at CMC Markets on BizTech's Midday Market Watch. I'm Brian Fernandez. Check out www.biztech.asia for business and technology conversations.